is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee. Welcome to this Hump Day edition of Main Street Sports. Today, we'll be joined with Heather Williams of WCYB-TV out of Bristol for her weekly conversation on things that go round and round, a little NASCAR talk. Well, we'll be diving into the crazy first day of the NFL free agency. Also, we'll be joined by Troy Fleming about an upcoming event he has at BGA. And also we'll get his thoughts on the Vol football program. And it is Hump Day. That means the weirdest and wildest and wackiest news on Wild and Wacky Wednesday. A couple of zany guys down by the Duck River. Speaking of such, we go to the Hall of Famer in his true blue Raider today, Mo Patton, and the Sundrop Kid from Alabama, Chris Yao. Afternoon, gentlemen.
What's going on? As tweeted by Chip Walters last night, the only remaining Tennessee collegiate basketball program continuing its season resides in Murfreesboro.
Yeah.
And they'll be taking...
Sorry, JP.
You know, that is the perfect consolation for me.
That's true.
As a Vandy fan and a graduate of Middle Tennessee State.
Works out.
The last two teams standing, huh?
I'm surviving today. I'm okay. Yeah, it was a tough bow by the Commodores, but
I tell you what,
happy for the Blue Raiders.
I don't know who had a tougher night last night though, the Vanderbilt basketball team or the new logo.
Ooh, yeah.
Because
I'll tell you what though, you go to Xavier and you only lose by 2 in that environment.
They led the entire second half.
I understand it. They Vandied their way to a loss.
Yeah.
I get it, but
wow, he just went same old Vandy on basketball.
He went hashtag SOV. Yep.
Well, I mean, look,
come on, people
Braves,
murdering the logo. You don't have to murder the team now.
The people are murdering the logo, by the way.
Braves have Barving. Vandy has Vandy. It doesn't matter what sport it is. When you do things like that, it's a verb. I mean,
Clemsoning.
Do you remember when Clemsoning was a big thing? Gosh,
is it not still after this past year?
Well, it might be.
Wasn't that with the P too? Clemson. Wasn't that or was that something completely different?
KLEMP.
Yeah.
They're in Clemson.
Yeah.
You're not verklempt. You're just Clemson.
Hope you guys have had a great start to your week as we get you to the crest of the week, and the other side of this show is the downward slope to the end of the work week for most of you. And we hope that you guys have had a great one. We have a great show. JP told you all about it, so let's go ahead and send it back to JP as he gives you the results from yesterday. There were some sporting results from across the mid-state and today's schedule on the Rundown.
This is the Rundown. All right, we get right into it on this Wednesday Rundown. High school baseball from yesterday. Oakland over Riverdale 3-2. Siegel defeated Rockvale 6-1. A couple of Rutherford County rivalries. Overton over Hillwood 11-0. Station Camp down Clarksville 3-1. It was White House falling to Springfield 12-9. Nolensville 4, Centennial 3. Brentwood 10, Summit 7. Columbia Academy down Franklin Road Academy 9-4. It was Beach 12-2 over Davidson Academy. DCA defeated the Monarchs 10-0, and MTCS over Providence Christian 11-1. High school softball from Tuesday: Westmoreland 9-6 over Smith County. Beach over Gallatin 7-2. Station Camp Big over Hendersonville 15-2. Community 18-8 over Murfreesboro Central. Independence 12-1 winners over BGA, and Friendship Christian down Clarksville Academy 13-3. On the pitch in boys soccer, Gallatin over Lebanon 3-1. MLK Martin Luther King 5-0 shutting out Maplewood. Tullahoma shut out by Murfreesboro Central, and Fairview 3-0 over Nashville Christian. College baseball yesterday. from First Horizon. Is that what we're calling it now, right?
Still First
I
Horizon
don't
for
think
now.
it's changed yet.
Okay,
For now.
First Horizon, where the Sounds play. Vanderbilt and Belmont without fans. So did it happen?
I'm
It was
sure
on social media.
I think Vanderbilt's going to tell you it
Yeah,
did.
Vanderbilt did. Absolutely. 13-4 the score over Belmont yesterday. Tennessee, big over Butler, 13-3. Lipscomb got their game in at Louisville and got a win.
They got a win over the 18th ranked Cardinals.
Is that Lipscomb?
Lipscomb won.
Lipscomb.
Good
All
for
right.
them.
Good for the Bison.
Good for Jeff Forehand.
That's a heck of a way
Mhm.
to rebound after a season and weekend sweep from Jacksonville State.
There you
Go up to Louisville and beat the 18th ranked Cardinals.
There you go.
There you go.
Don't overlook us.
There you go.
Cumberland, 22 to 8 and 15-1 over Johnson.
That's
Is that right?
University.
Johnson University
Out of Knoxville.
out of Knoxville.
Mhm.
Okay, you learn something new every day.
TRA.
NIT quarterfinals last night from Cincinnati. Xavier comes back and defeats Vanderbilt 75-73 in a tight ball game. The Blue Raiders of MTSU into the CBI championship game with a big win over Abilene Christian 85-69. And on the ice last night, the Preds fall to the LA Kings at crypto.com arena, by the way, 6-1. High school baseball today.
That's the third consecutive game that 6 goals have been scored in the Preds. They lost 6-4, then they won 6-3, and they lost 6-1. So weird.
I don't know the numbers, but it appears there's more goals being scored this season than in previous, which is not a bad thing.
No.
High school baseball, Riverdale and Oakland continue their series today. Mount Juliet at Cookeville. Fairview at Greenbrier. Columbia hosts Summertown. That's an interesting game. Nolensville at Franklin. Ravenwood welcomes Lipscomb Academy. Clarksville Academy is at Dixon County. CPA at Brentwood Academy and Father Ryan at Pope Prep. Softball in the dirt today. Laverne at Cane Ridge. Oakland at Wilson Central. Ravenwood welcomes Pope Prep. It is Harpeth at Clarksville. Springfield host Joe Burns and DCA will travel to Friendship Christian. On the pitch, Lebanon and Warren County. Rossview at White House. Columbia welcomes Brentwood. Blackman and Independence will play. And Lincoln County, that is, travels to Page. College baseball this evening, Union at Trevecca. It's a 6 p.m. first pitch. Softball, Tennessee State at MTSU, 5 p.m. And Chattanooga at Lipscomb at 4 o'clock. Men's basketball tonight, mentioned that CBI championship game. It'll be the Blue Raiders of MTSU versus UNC Wilmington, 4 o'clock, ESPN2 for a championship today. And in the NBA, the Nets will be at the Grizzlies tonight, 6:30 ESPN on the mothership with the big bad Brooklyn Nets in town. And that is your Hump Day edition of The Rundown.
Today's top story comes from a unfortunate situation taking place up in Nashville last night. A Pearl-Cohn senior who had signed to play for Lindsey Wilson, play football, unfortunately passed away in a car accident last night, Mo, and there's a story on MainStreetPreps.com.
Taurus Turrentine, 6 foot, 285 pound teddy bear, as Tony Brunetti described him in a release, was a passenger in a single car crash. The 17-year-old driver swerved when she said she saw headlights in front of her and thought a vehicle was coming at her, swerved off the roadway and struck a tree, according to information provided by the Metro Nashville Police Department up on the north side of Nashville, up at Due West specifically. And so Taurus Turrentine, 3-year starter for Pearl-Cohn, played 4 years in the program, all district at defensive tackle. Again, as you said, had signed last month with Lindsey Wilson, a NAIA perennial power, I guess, in
Definitely.
football up there. So obviously our thoughts and condolences go out to the the Pearl Cone football family, the Pearl Cone community, and certainly Taurus Turrentine's family. That's tough. When anytime you lose a youngster at that age, it's heartbreaking. It really is. Been through it. I've been too close to it myself, and it's hard.
No question. Let's take a break and talk some NASCAR on the other side of the break, because Heather Williams will be joining us, and we'll talk a little about Atlanta, talk a little about the upcoming race on the first road course of the year, and maybe we'll talk a little Speedway Inc. So
I bet we're going to wind up talking a little Greenville basketball as well.
we might. So y'all stick around here on Main Street Sports today. We return with Heather Williams right after this. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org, or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Welcome back in to Main Street Sports today on this Hump Day edition, as we continue to bring you the most comprehensive and timely coverage of sports from around the mid-state and beyond, as JP so eloquently put earlier. Excited to jump in here to talk a little racing and
I'm sorry to talk what?
A little racing.
Racing?
Racing. Yes.
Not racing?
Well, there's yeah, I guess. I did it for Terry. If you have any never mind.
Yeah, my bad.
I'll get to that. Anyway, it's easy to talk about the things that go round and round quickly when you have Heather Williams on the line. And Heather, as always, it's a pleasure. Thank you for taking some time with us this week. How are you?
Doing well, recovering from my trip up your way this weekend. Fruitful visit for our local teams, and get back into the grind of covering things like racing.
Racing is what she does, but it's not all she does. When Heather gets off the line with us, she is heading over to the Mini Dome. Is that still in existence?
They'll actually practice outside unless it's raining today.
Oh,
so
okay.
At their outside stadium, yeah.
East Tennessee State getting spring football practice started. It's first under a new coach.
Yeah, George Quarles, Tennessee high school coaching legend, takes over the program this year. So it'll be interesting to see the difference. Well, I can already tell you there's huge differences between him and Randy Sanders in the ways they run their practices and the fact that practices are now wide open. So other than that, it'll be interesting to see what else has changed.
He clearly, coach doesn't care if you want to come in and scout because we're going to beat you.
We're going to
either
beat
way.
you anyway. Yeah. I don't care what you know. I mean, that probably comes from his background at Maryville. Hey,
There you go.
You can know all you want to.
It don't matter.
Well, I mean, I feel like last year's CTSU's team was like that anyway. I mean, they made it all the way to the national quarterfinals. But Randy's background being in high level Division I athletics, that close practices are staying there. So it's a difference of where they came from for sure.
No question. You got a chance to see some, speaking of high school sports, you got a chance to see a little bit, and both Greenville and Dobbins Bennett take gold balls back to East Tennessee.
Yeah, how exciting for Upper East Tennessee. It's been a while since the basketball's been as good as it is in this area. And then when you add the two girls teams that we had win state championships in Virginia, teams in this area are playing in a high level. I was particularly impressed with Dobbins Bennett because I hadn't really seen them play much this year. I think everybody expected Greenville to be there. You have the best player in the state in his division. You're expected to be there. But the Dobbins Bennett, that team is about as well balanced as a team to be. They've got 4 or 5 guys that could in any one night go for 20 points, but none of them play like they have to. They just let the game come to them, and I think that was the secret to their success this year.
I just want to know, Heather, did anybody use Hail Mary for their headline after Malachi Hale's prayer there in the middle of the paint in that semifinal win?
I don't think so. I only saw the Bristol paper, so I don't know. The Kingsport paper could have, but I was already in Murfreesboro when that happened, so I'm not 100% sure. But it's great. You should have called up some of your newspaper buddies in Tennessee and offered that to them as a prize.
Yeah, as soon as he hit the shot, that's exactly what Mo said. He goes, "It was a Hail Mary." I'm like, "Oh, it's so good."
That's why he's a Hall of Famer.
It is. That's exactly it. I mean,
yeah, something like that. Let's talk a little racing. Because
Sunday was phenomenal. I mean, some of the best racing I have ever seen, certainly out of Atlanta. But that track running like a super speedway was just something incredible to watch, and the finish did not disappoint, did it?
No, none of it did. I mean, I've nicknamed that track now Atlanta Dega.
That's
my trademark. So, but I think it'll be interesting to see. I don't want NASCAR to overdo this, right? Talladega, Daytona is great. Atlanta was great, but we can't. Now try to change Kansas and Texas and Vegas into this, right? What made the racing so great is that that's something we don't see every week. And it was phenomenal. Atlanta was one of my favorite tracks, but Atlanta like that was a whole nother level. So they're doing some pretty smart things on NASCAR right now. They've taken their lumps in the last, 20, 30 years and things that they've done. But this year they've continued to hit home run over after home run. And even the races that aren't home runs have been like solid doubles. They're just having a really good start to the year.
And I think exactly what you just said, it's important because Atlanta was kind of boring anyway in and of itself. They did the reconfiguration to give it that quad oval look, and we're hoping that would make it unique enough, but it just didn't. And of course, the track with the tire wear and that sort of thing made it even more difficult to deal with. So making it run like a super speedway is going to make Atlanta a place that NASCAR feels good about continuing to come back. And I think that was the end goal, and they achieved that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the problem with Atlanta was just what I talked about. What could be the problem if they tried to change other tracks, right? There were so many mile and a half. I mean, they were all nicknamed cookie cutters, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those races became boring because there were a million of them. So by mixing some of these tracks up, if they do eventually make Auto Club into a short track and they've mixed some of these tracks up and given us more variety, that's what really makes the racing great. And so by making another super speedway, although a mini version of it, I think was absolutely the right thing to do. And Atlanta's so historic and so iconic in NASCAR that it was really sad to see what that track had become, attendance-wise, racing-wise. So I'm hopeful that this is a step in the right direction to save that track, keep it on the schedule, and keep it a big part of NASCAR.
As we move to the Circuit of the Americas, obviously that is the first road course of the year, and it's unique in and of itself. It's one of my favorite road courses, but it's kind of become boring over the last few years because the same 2 or 3 people win every single road course. How does that change this week, or does it?
Elliott.
Did we lose?
I think we have some Bluetooth.
Road course game, right? I mean, it's happened a little bit in the.
See if we
Hello?
can get
Can
it.
you hear me?
Hey, let's start over with that answer here, because we had some. Again, does that change this week?
Hello?
Can it change? She cannot hear us.
No. Do we need to
So
drop her and bring her
Chase-
back?
Yeah.
Yeah, just pause for a moment.
Chase.
Okay.
So Chase Elliott and Joey Logano, not Joey Logano, Kyle Larson are almost going to win every single, and Chase Elliott specifically,
Mhm.
dude wins every single race. Now, what I was showing you
Mhm.
is that Bubba Wallace is actually going to run it in the Xfinity series, which is like, the AAA, right?
Mhm.
So,
And he's going to run it
for Joe Gibbs
for Joe
Racing,
Gibbs.
which is where he started.
Mhm.
So I'm curious if that extra practice and that extra run
So he's
in
going to
that
run
car.
the Xfinity race with Joe Gibbs, and then he's going to run the Cup race.
as he normally would,
With-
I presume.
Yeah.
They don't say anything different. Heather, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you
Okay.
guys hear me now?
Yes,
can. We were just talking about Bubba Wallace running the number 18 Dr. Pepper car in the Xfinity race for Joe Gibbs on Saturday, and curious if that's going to help him in that Sunday NASCAR Cup race.
Yeah, for sure. It's an effort to get him better at road course races, because that is one of the places that he's weak. And it kind of tied into the answer I was trying to give to the question when we lost our connection earlier, which is other drivers have got to get better at road course races. I mean, we saw some of this in the 90s and 2000s when Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart were winning everything because the other drivers weren't good enough. The reason why Chase Elliott dominates the road course is that he's the best at it. So, and I think you're seeing, because I think other drivers try to do this, because I think Alex Bowman's going to run the truck race. I think there might be 1 or 2 other Cup Series drivers that are either running the truck race or the Xfinity race to try to get better, to try to catch up with Chase, because right now he's the king of the road.
Nice.
Ha ha! I see what you did there.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Well done.
Heather, let me ask you something. And again, as a racing novice, how tough is it driving back-to-back days like that?
It's
I mean,
tough.
how much
I
of a
mean,
toll does that take on the driver?
It's tough, and especially the road course, which is, a lot of shifting and turning and using muscles and things that you don't use in a normal race. But even a short track like Bristol or whatever, because the G-force is a lot on the body. I mean, depending on the temperature, drivers can lose, 5 to 10 pounds in water weight during a race. So it's extremely tough on the body. But I mean, most of the drivers anymore train like athletes in any other sport. I mean, they do workouts and lift weights. And, if you look at a guy like Jimmy Johnson, that guy's a triathlete. So most of them can handle it. But yeah, it does take quite a toll on your body, especially if it's hot, which in Texas it probably will be, to endure that.
You don't see a lot of Junior Johnsons on the circuit anymore, huh?
No.
No, the last one of those kind of guys was Ryan Newman, and he hung him up this year. So, yeah, there's not really those kind of guys in sport anymore.
What a crazy finish it was in Atlanta. Hopefully there will be some drama or suspense on Sunday at the Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix at the Circuit of Americas. It will be on Fox at 2:30 Central Time. Make sure to check it out. And Heather, as always, it is a pleasure. We enjoy your time, and thank you for taking it with us.
Absolutely. Love coming on with you guys.
Be sure and tell Coach Quarles I said, hey.
Will do.
All righty.
All right. When we come back, we have NFL free agency is the wild and wacky Wednesday NFL.
It just started today?
Basically, yes. So you could.
So what's been going on for the last?
Just an appetizer.
Unrestricted. Restricted free agency, and it's all unrestricted now. So
so now it's
real.
It's wide open.
Yep.
All right.
So let's talk about it.
Let's do it.
On the other side of the break. Stick around. This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee Sports Editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
Other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama. So other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, as we are continuing this wild and wacky Wednesday with a little NFL talk. But I do want to mention this. This is pretty funny. On First Take today, they had Stephen A. Smith in front of the Memphis skyline. because obviously Brooklyn and Memphis playing tonight on ESPN, and and Jeff Calkins of the Daily Memphian tweets, okay, this skyline is so sad. Can't we have the bridge, the pyramid, or maybe just some cars stopped by a train? Which is just, if you know, you know. And it really is kind of a sad skyline.
So to follow up on that,
they
apparently
couldn't have put him on Bill. They could have at least put Bill Street behind him. Put Central behind him.
Yeah, Bill Street at night, with all the neon lights lit up, that would have been pretty cool. Apparently he spoke at Southwind High School today because friend of the show, John Varlas of the Daily Memphian, tweeted something out along those lines. He's got he's retweeted a picture that a Southwind's administrator apparently posted. So good stuff.
It is.
Yeah.
Again, Memphis hosting the Nets tonight. So since Brooklyn's involved, ESPN is involved.
Brooklyn in the house. Yeah.
As we're talking about NFL, Robert Woods stepped up to the podium for the first time today. And one, I love the fact that the Rams had to pay him the $3.5 million roster bonus. Thanks, LA. Appreciate you. But dude stepped up with some straight swagger. Had zero. I'm talking, he stepped up there and acted like he was freaking Jerry Rice. Me and AJ Brown gonna be awesome. I mean, just zero hesitation about being a Titan, doing what Titans do. And I love that. I love a guy who can come in and personify the Titans attitude from the get. Doesn't have to learn it.
When you are the number one seed coming back, I think there's got to be a degree of swag in that locker room. And this guy was associated with a team that won a Super Bowl. So I would not expect swag to be an issue for him. And, he's jumping right in. So
served as a captain, caught 367 balls for 4,626 yards and 23 touchdowns in 5 years and 2 Super Bowl appearances. That
ain't shabby.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's a guy you want on your team.
That's a good thing, right?
That's a guy you want on your team.
Yeah.
Seems good. And, on top of that, it's not just the big names and the captains that J-Rob is making sure stick around. When you've got a special teams player the caliber of Dylan Cole, you got to make sure you keep a guy like that. Special teams guys at that level just don't exist everywhere. And he's not quite good enough to play, the linebacker position consistently. But boy, it seems every time there is a special teams play, Dylan Cole's involved.
Yeah. And I mean, coaches will tell you, offense, defense, special teams. It's
part of
a thing, and it's important. And you need to be good at it. So,
but the Titans are not the ones making the crazy moves.
You thought they would be?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
But the craziest thing, I'm eating lunch today and almost spit out my Zaxby's chicken when I get the push notification, right? That Tyreek Hill was headed to Miami for 5 draft picks, which gives the Chiefs
$8 million.
$8 million in cap space, but
I mean $8 million draft picks.
Oh, it feels like it.
Yeah.
They have 6 picks in 3 of their draft picks are in the top 103 picks of the draft. That's a reload.
Say that again.
3 of their picks
Or in the top
103.
103. Wow.
Do you remember when the Braves had like 10 picks in the first 3 rounds or something? That's kind of what this feels like. I bet the Chiefs don't take all pitchers. But
they might take all receivers though.
I guess it's possible. This is a Chiefs team that right now they're not great.
Well, they did
at the receiver position.
They did sign Juju Smith-Schuster.
They did sign Juju Smith-Schuster, but after that, you've got Kelsey and you've got Mecole
Hardman,
and
who's no slouch.
No, I'm saying this is not I don't think you have the deep threat. Juju doesn't really give you as much of a deep threat, and it certainly doesn't give you what Tyreek Hill gave you on the sweeps and that sort of thing. They don't have that Deshaun Jackson type, which is what Tyreek Hill was, right? He was kind of a flex guy. He was a slash guy. And they don't have that anymore. So I'm curious how that changes the offense.
But who's the kid? They had a kid that showed up big for them in the postseason this past year, whose name I can't remember. He was from another relatively small college program who made some big plays for them. And then I think they might see Mecole Hardman as a guy who can do that type thing as well.
It's possible. What I am more concerned about, if I am a Chiefs fan, is this a rebuild or is it a reload, or what's the plan for this money? Because you offered Tyreek Hill a boatload of money.
I don't think, as long as Patrick Mahomes is on their roster, they're ever going to be in a rebuild. They also have Josh Gordon under contract.
And if he ever plays, that'll be awesome. Maybe it might be awesome. I don't know. I haven't seen him on the field in 6 years, it feels like. I legitimately don't know the last time I saw Josh Gordon on a football field. And that's another story for another day. It's
sure it is.
A little ridiculous, but neither here nor there. Hearing that, a lot of Miami fans are excited, but also think that this is kind of do or die for Tua Tagovailoa.
Well, I guess they figure that, if they've got a window, this is pushing it open. And
with a first-year coach. I mean, I'm just asking.
I don't know.
You've kind of put yourself behind the 8 ball going out and having to put a new coach on the field and a new staff and new terminology.
And trading away 5 draft picks over the next little bit.
For one guy.
Yeah.
Is Tyreek Hill worth that? Did they overpay?
Probably. One guy who is probably in NFL years on the backside.
Sure.
Maybe not to the degree of a Julio Jones, but on the back half of his productivity.
This has a Bill Belichick feel to it in terms of getting
Miami.
Kansas City, of moving on from potentially aging stars before they age.
This will be Tyreek Hill's 7th season.
Yeah. Speed's going to go eventually. And without speed,
at 5'10", 185, once your speed is gone at that position, there ain't a lot left. So
that's an A+ move, I think, by the Chiefs to get 5 draft picks.
Oh, no question.
Hayden Grove throws this out there, and this is just this is just throwing this. This is not something that is happening or is going to happen, anything like that. Tua to Seattle, Baker Mayfield
to Miami.
with Mike McDaniels. So I think the quarterback carousel this year is going to emulate the coaching carousel from college football this past year.
It's already wild. And again, Seattle, Carolina, Detroit, if they decide to do something with golf, I mean, there's still some potential moves out there.
Because they may or may not get Deshaun Watson. And if you move on from Baker, then what?
Which may be why they're not. They did sign Jacoby Brissett this weekend as well, which kind of went under the radar until a couple of my boys pointed it out to me. So
I don't know, man. This NFL free agency thing is going to get weirder and wilder and wackier, and we're going to keep getting weirder, wilder, and wackier on this show. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today comes back after this. This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee sports editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama. So the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice. Welcome back in. It's halftime, and we send it to the Hall of Famer Mo Patton for today's halftime topic.
Okay, so as I mentioned a few weeks ago, I was a little late to the party in terms of Friday Night Lights. Jody and I have been binging on it. We just finished up the 4th season and started season 5. I guess you watched it?
I have seen, yes. Mm-hmm.
I've seen it twice. I watched it myself, and then Sarah wanted to watch it, so I watched it with her.
Would you let a family member go to jail for something you did?
Zero chance. And that was one of the most ridiculous storylines.
I mean, I've just gotten into season 5. So Tim Riggins is in jail because his brother is one of the most reprehensible people I have ever seen in life or anywhere else. Billy Riggins should be shot dead.
He's a knucklehead.
He's an absolute knucklehead, and he brings knucklehead to everybody around him.
The guy who plays him is a knucklehead in everything he plays.
Oh. Hey,
find your groove.
Your niche,
there you go. Find your niche. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he has flown all over me throughout this series, and I just knew that at some point he was going to be the downfall of Tim, his younger brother. His younger brother is doing his time for running a chop shop.
That is a pretty insane storyline, but I'll tell you, it probably doesn't do. It's probably not a bad thing for Tim. Tim kind of getting scared straight a little bit. So
yeah, because I mean, he's a kid who had so much potential and just
doesn't
figure out a way to live up to it. And I'm interested to see, and I guess, where it goes once he gets out. So I'll be keeping an eye on that. But I hope he gets out and he punches his brother in the face.
Well, I'll tell you, one place I do know where it's going because it's based on a true story, but the ending of Winning Time on Sunday was Weiss being found in the trunk of that Rolls Royce when Tark and Bus are negotiating the Lakers deal to get him from UNLV, and it's pretty crazy. I mean, I thought it was neat. So, and that's based on, I mean, that actually happened. So,
right.
I mean, that's a true story, and it's pretty crazy. Anyway, come back with us in the second half. It's going to be a lot of fun. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today returns after this.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Time of the second half of Main Street Sports Today on this Hump Day edition. Coming up, we'll talk with VFL Troy Fleming, also former BGA and Titan. Got something going on local we'll want to talk about. Plus, Wild and Wacky Wednesday. Back to the zany duo. One Mo Patton, True Blue today, and the Sundrop kid. That's the guy over
The
there.
2006 Time Man of the Year.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that.
In his part, Johnny Black today. Jimmy Cash. Johnny Cash, Jimmy Black, all black. Just put it all together.
Jack Black.
Mix it up.
Yeah.
And there you have it, Mo and Chris. Welcome back, second half. Hello.
Yes. So I want to go into kind of a hodgepodge here. One, we talked about it just briefly before the show, Mo. 25-year-old #1 female tennis player of the year announces her retirement on Instagram, which is exactly what you would think a 25-year-old would do.
There you go.
So is it just the sheer fact that she announced it on Instagram, or
no? It's the fact that
she's retiring at 25.
That used to be old in tennis. That used to be really old in tennis.
Well, and then Serena Williams and all these other, So Ashley is her full name, but Ash is what she goes by. Ash Barty.
She spells it
ASHLEIGH.
Okay,
just like every Alabama millennial mother. Somebody wanted us to name Charlie Char Leigh, and I'm like, no. Absolutely not.
Leigh.
As the father of a Brandy BRANDEE, I can't say a whole lot.
I understand. It's weird that the sports guy spelled his kid's name
right.
Because all I do is yell at people all the time. Spell your kid's name right.
I thought 2 E's would be easy enough to handle.
One would think.
Ashley, though,
that's why she goes by Ash, right? So Ash Barty, an Australian. Her Wikipedia has already been updated. A Australian former professional tennis player and cricketer. She played cricket too.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
She was the second Australian tennis player to be ranked #1 in world singles by the WTA, and she has announced her retirement. She is the first Australian to win the Australian Open since 1979.
Okay.
She is the first female to win her first 3 Open championships that she's competed in. I think she won the 2019 Open. She won.
Talking about majors?
Yes, Open majors.
Open majors. Wow.
So, yeah, it's pretty crazy to retire at 25. But, I mean, she basically said, look, I've done everything that I need to do. And I want to chase some other dreams.
Good for her.
And
does she specify?
She did not specify what those
maybe
dreams
she
were.
wants to be a cricket professional athlete.
Possible. I mean, maybe this is a Michael Jordan thing.
Is there women's cricket?
I'm sure there is.
She's a former cricketer, so
well, I mean, I didn't know if she
women.
was. I know who she was playing with.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a professional women's cricket league. I mean, My dad watches it. He watches the dumbest stuff at 2:00 in the morning because it's live then, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like when Korean baseball was a thing during COVID. And we were all up at 4:00 in the morning watching the rabbit monkeys or whatever they were. Anyway, that's, I swear it was some weird name. Anyway, so
Translate that in Korean.
You
made her debut in the women's a legend of Australian tennis. Ashley Barty is also a talented cricketer. Hey, she won the Open for the first time since '79. She probably is a legend. Also a talented cricketer who made her mark in the inaugural season of the Women's Big Bash League.
Hello.
Okay, first of all, this is not the first time she's retired from tennis.
Mhm.
The
Oh, really?
last time she retired from tennis, she went to being a cricketer.
So she's been down this road before.
Yes, she is the Michael Jordan of tennis.
A junior Wimbledon champion who also played in doubles finals at 3 Grand Slams, Barty walked away from tennis in late 2014 at the age of 18 and turned to the bat and ball game, starting at the Western Suburbs District Cricket Club in Brisbane. Proved herself almost immediately, scoring, and this will mean nothing. Well, it certainly means nothing to me. Scoring an explosive 63 not out from 60 balls in just her second club match.
Oh, the old 63 not out play, Mo.
Yeah. And earning a contract with the Brisbane Heat
Well,
for the 15-16 season.
If you go up to bat 63 times and you don't get out in any of those, that's pretty darn good. I don't know what that means, but that seems good.
So having done this before, is it safe to say that she's just toiling with us and she's playing cricket while the rest of us are playing tennis?
No chess and checkers here. Nice. No, I'll be honest.
You have to work awfully hard for that.
I think she's done this time. I mean,
do you? What? Please expand.
Well, I mean, just based off her body language, I think she's going to something completely outside of sports. She probably just wants to be an Instagram influencer because why not? If you can take pictures of yourself and make millions, then go for it.
That's a lot of work to be a professional athlete.
If you can take pictures of yourself and make thousands after having made millions,
it doesn't matter at this point. I mean, just be
all
you.
cake.
And as you pointed out, most tennis players come from money to start with, so it's probably not she's hurting under any circumstance.
Probably not
from a financial standpoint, but it's intriguing. 25-year-old retirees.
Hey, living her best life.
Live your best life, Ash.
I'm not mad at it.
I ain't mad at it at all.
No, not at all.
So speaking of open tournaments, the USGA has awarded Oakland Hills Country Club the 2034 and 2051 U.S. Open golf events.
Okay.
2051. How do you even... What? That's literally 29 years from now.
Yep.
I think they're trying, and they may have been doing this.
Does that mean that the 2050 has already been awarded?
It's a good question. There must be a rotation that they're trying to play into, much like the Royal and Ancient over in
like the college football playoff,
the British Isles, the Open over there where they rotate.
But this is, I mean, 2051. Do we really need to even announce that? You can wait 10 years and announce.
They forget it.
Wait until
they had
34
to announce
Open.
it so that everybody knew.
Not just 29 years, but 12 years from now. We have awarded Oakland Hills Country Club may not be there in 2051.
That's very true.
And there may very well not be anyone currently playing golf that will be playing.
Someone
in
said
2051.
I hope Charlie Woods is able to overcome his back injury to win the 2051 U.S. Open golf
before he goes full time on the senior tour.
I mean, my gosh, this is ridiculous. What are we doing? Somebody said now all we need is 2 Power 5 powerhouses to announce a 2064 home and home series.
Hey, not too far fetched.
I mean, at this point, why not?
I guarantee you this: one of them won't be Dion.
No, and
because
Dion,
he'll be finding a way to get out of that contract about 2034 because it's not paying enough.
And Dion, well, yeah, did you see his rant about Pro Day? So Jackson State hosts a Pro Day. 10 of the 32 teams did not show up, and he straight calls them out. He's like,
Did he call them by name?
Eagles, Broncos, Buccaneers, went down the list. And then he goes, I guarantee you're going to be at Ole Miss. You're going to be at Mississippi State. But I'm going to tell you, we coming. And when we do,
not we coming.
And when we get there, you better be here. I said, shoot, I'd have locked him out.
Right. Don't
Too bad.
Now.
Don't come here.
Don't come now.
Where was you at 5 years ago, buddy?
Yeah.
You could stay at home.
just like you did back in 2022.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let them come in.
Don't come now.
Anyway.
We ain't got nobody. Don't worry about it. We ain't got nobody.
That's probably what some coaches did to Jeremy Pruitt.
If I had to guess.
Anyway, let's talk to speaking of Vols, let's talk to VFL Troy Fleming, the Legends of Tennessee camp, coming to you here in Franklin here momentarily. I guess it's this weekend. Yeah, this weekend. So should be a fantastic event. We'll find out all about it, and we'll probably get Troy's take on the status and the state of UT football. So stick around. Main Street Sports Day returns after this. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee Sports Editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
Other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama. So other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice. Welcome back in. It's Main Street Sports Today on this Wednesday edition. Glad to have you guys with us here as we continue to get you ready for the back end of the work week. I know y'all are having a good time, so We just had a good time talking about 2051 golf tournaments. It really is confusing how this continues, but I am looking forward to that 2020, 2031, 2032 home and home with, I think Notre Dame and Alabama have one, and Tennessee and like USC or something. Anyway,
there's no telling what college football telecasts will look like by then. With the meta thing that we were talking about a few weeks ago and that type thing, it's going to be interesting.
That is wild because there's going to be a time, Tennessee's shrinking Neyland Stadium, and
that's a crazy concept to me. After the arms races that everybody was having to put up the biggest stadiums and the biggest attendance numbers and that kind of thing, now we're shrinking.
Well, I mean, this is one of the reasons why, right? I mean, people are doing it. They're watching games in the metaverse. They are watching it on television because it's just easier. I mean, there's so many ways that you can do it. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of going to the games anyway. I mean, I went to the UAB game a couple years ago. That was fun, but I also was in a good spot.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a chair back, and we were right on the front row of that.
It sounds crazy to say, but I mean, crowds like that, the parking, and everything that goes with going to a major college football game, I can do without.
That's why I stick with the FCS, man. People laugh at me. Did you see Antonio Zeta maybe is in the transfer portal? Looking to play.
I didn't realize Antonio Zeta still had eligibility.
I didn't realize he was that old. I thought he in 2 or 3 years. I didn't realize. So anyway, yeah, he's got a 5th year that he'll be looking to play elsewhere and should absolutely get a shot somewhere.
Oh, absolutely.
Because that dude can kick.
Yeah.
So
that'll be
Tennessee State kicker, by the way.
Yeah, from Fayetteville.
From Fayetteville.
From Lincoln County.
Yeah. Lincoln County High School.
Yeah.
JP, do we have?
No, have been unsuccessful in reaching out to
that's fine,
Mr. Troy. So hopefully, maybe we'll hear from him in just a moment.
That's fine. I was just curious. Other than that, some of the unique things happening in sports today. Apparently, Austin Riley has decided that he wants to pick up where he left off and is hitting. He said, "You know what? Jorge Soler is gone, so somebody's got to start hitting moonshots. It might as well be me."
Might as well.
And
I'm here for it.
Dude hit 2 massive bombs today against the Rays.
Against the Rays. Somebody must have shown him that MLB Network list of the top 10 third basemen in the game right now.
On which he was not. I don't know how you make a top 10 list and a guy who should have been in the MVP conversation last year.
It should have been a really short conversation.
And yet, you tell me. Listen, Jorge Soler is headed to the Miami Marlins, which means that at the break, we'll be able to get him back for a towel drying rack and a bucket of Bubblicious.
Just don't give away his number. Just hold his number.
Make sure
12.
Yeah. Just hold 12.
Keep 12. Keep the nameplate on it. He'll be back.
Max Fried pitched yesterday. That was fun. He continues to look sharp as we are 7, 8, 14, 15 days away. 15 days away from
Isn't that crazy?
Opening day. Feels like we just started spring training. Oh, wait, we did.
A little mentioned pickup by general manager MVGM.
There you go.
Alex Anthopoulos. Phil Gosselin returning to the Braves was signed over the weekend, I think. Played last year with the Angels, but he returns to the organization where he began his career. He was drafted by the Braves out of UVA back in 2010, got up and was on the 2013 and 13, 14, and 15. He played for Atlanta before leaving. But
those were the lean years, though.
Well, so he deserves to be back for this.
He does. Let's bring him back to deal with it.
So he will be the utility guy that can fill in at second, third, short, play a little outfield. Gives them a little versatility and a little flexibility for those off days that Ozzie and Dansby will now be able to take without feeling bad about it.
I was going to say, that's one thing that I am curious to see how that shifts. I don't think you're going to be seeing guys play 141, 142 days a year.
Those guys were playing like 150, 156.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I don't think they're going to be playing even 140. I think you'll see them play 130 to 135 games. They'll get those off days throughout the year. Should be a positive come October.
Yeah.
But then again, certainly didn't hurt them this year. So.
It didn't hurt, but I mean, if you continue to layer those 150 games seasons on top of each other, it's gonna, if it doesn't have a short-term effect, it's gonna have a long-term effect. And so, and if you've got viable backups, why not play them? You've got Arcia, you've got Gosselin. You need to keep those guys sharp.
Because in the event something happens, God forbid.
Right.
And then, that's one of the cool things about this Braves team is there are 3 or 4 guys who can play 5 or 6 positions. I mean, Austin Riley was the emergency catcher at one point. So
I tell you what, with his arm, I wouldn't necessarily mind seeing that in a short sample size.
Right.
I wouldn't want to see it for a long period of time. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he can play the corners. He can play the left. You got guys who can play all 3 outfield spots. You wouldn't necessarily want him to. But
there are a lot. This team is very versatile. It's a team that is built.
It's a National League team.
Unfortunately. Neither here nor there.
Yeah, ain't no sense in getting into it.
But I'm excited to watch this team. The Phillies have gone out and spent money. The Mets have gone out and spent a ton of money. The Nats have gone out and spent some money.
Keep on.
Heck, the Marlins just signed Jorge Soler for a lot of money, and they've got a couple of guys who are really good. Those young pitchers they got. I am more worried about the Miami Marlins than I am anybody else in the division.
Yeah, bingo.
And despite all the money that everybody spent. Now look, the Mets are going to be good. They really are. They're going to be good. But they're going to Met.
At some point, Met's going to Met.
And just like they did in August last year. So the team that I worry about is if the Marlins decide not to sell at the deadline like they have been the last few years, and maybe that's why Derek Jeter is no longer a part of the organization. I mean, they're a scary team with that rotation.
I just thought it was so ironic that the Braves actually clinched against the Mets.
I love that. After they did their fake celebration or their celebration practice in spring training when they did the dog pile. Unreal.
That's Bush. I was looking as we were talking about the Marlins, I'm trying to figure out where Jose Urena is.
Oh, he's not with the Marlins anymore.
Yeah.
He was
with Detroit.
Yeah, I was about to say he was in the American League at some point.
I like him over there.
You keep
I
him
like
there.
him over there.
Keep him over there.
Far away from 13.
Exactly. No question there.
Let him find somebody else to throw at.
I'm sure Detroit can find somebody too.
And hopefully Mattingly won't find anybody else to aim at 13.
Let's hope not. Real quick before we get into Wild and Wacky, I want to mention that the Blue Raiders are on the air tonight. It's
not tonight.
It's afternoon at 4:00. I mean, we'll be getting off the air, and Middle will be tipping off pretty quickly against UNC Wilmington in the CBI championship.
The Seahawks.
Interesting.
That is accurate. Yep.
Wilmington used to be a very popular NASCAR city and track, but has since gone by the wayside. It's unfortunate.
They also used to have a minor league baseball team, the Port City Roosters.
Roosters.
It's a good name. Speaking of Wilmington, little nuggets of factoids. The Bobcats did their preseason, their training camp in Wilmington for a few years.
Was that when Michael Jordan was affiliated with the team?
Yes, it was.
Him being from
Wilmington, yeah. Yep.
So
that was a nice trip to be able to go down to Wilmington for a week.
So fun fact from Chip Walters at Use Chip on Twitter: the Ocean Center site of the CBI tournament was
very odd looking facility, by the way, if you watch the game.
It's not a normal basketball arena.
No.
But it did serve as the host of World Championship Wrestling's Bash at the Beach for many years.
Okay.
And in 1996 was the site of Hulk Hogan's iconic heel turn, where he joined the New World Order.
The NWO. He went from the
was
gold trunks to the black trunks.
The gold and red ketchup and mustard Hulkamaniacs to black and white. Jimi Hendrix playing spray painting folks.
Went to the dark side.
He went to the dark side literally, and man, what a turn it was. I'll never forget.
What you gonna do about that, brother?
I mean, what you gonna do?
Well, I guess
when the New World Order runs wild on you.
If you're a building and you're going to be famous for something, it might as well be that, right?
What was that called? Something at the
Bash at the Beach. Yep. Now they had the arena did host, some of the event indoors, but some of it was also outdoors.
Oh, really?
Which was always interesting.
Is this like a wrestling tournament?
No, it was just it was a pay-per-view. It was
a
Sunday night pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Once a year. And it was a lot of fun, no doubt. Anyway, unfortunately, I guess we were unable to secure the guest of Troy Fleming. So we have pushed our way through this segment that we had nothing scheduled to talk about.
In NWO with Hogan, Kevin Nash, former UT forward Kevin Nash, and the late Scott Hall.
Scott Hall.
Yeah.
So we're going 6 degrees of Hulk Hogan here.
But I will tell you, it was just too sweet. You guys aren't wrestling fans.
No,
it's been a long time. Yeah.
Listen, this was my world growing up.
I believe that. Yeah.
So I played on a softball team during the mid-90s, and one year we had jerseys made up something like the NWO with the black and the white with the all lowercase letters and that kind of thing.
Did you have the middle letter was uppercase though? Of course. That was the best part. So random. It's like, what are we doing here? And it was what's this random like sans font that like looked like it was from a typewriter on the bottom. It was hilarious. Anyway, we need to take a break because the weirdest and wildest news from across the world comes at you next here on Wild and Wacky Wednesday. So stick around. We'll be right back. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee Sports Editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama. So the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice. Welcome back in. It is Wild and Wacky Wednesday here on Main Street Sports Today. Final segment of this Wednesday as the other side of the week, the backside, if you will.
Is that the good side?
I think so.
It's the closest
best side.
It's
Yes.
the closest side to the weekend.
It's better. It's better than the backside of 30,
Mm-hmm.
as you all know. I'm almost there.
Been there.
I'm at the crest.
How you feeling about that?
I know it's really.
Is it really creeping into you about that?
Yes. It's funny because like I'm just going to be playing John Conley on repeat for at least 5 years.
Mo, I don't know if you can speak to this, but I haven't. The age thing hasn't really bothered me. Now, I mean, I'm out of shape, but that's of my own doing, and
Same.
it's not like I was elite physically or athletically, but
you are preaching to the choir on that.
I mean,
one,
it just I've kind of just accepted that. So, but getting older has it. The way I try to make myself feel better about it is, people are still rocking and rolling in their 60s and 70s, and hell, some in their 80s. In my early 40s, 20 years from now, I'll be 63. And so what I do is I think about, what was I doing 20 years ago? I was still in college 20 years ago. It took a little while, but so point being is that a lot can happen in 20 years, a lot of good, and you could still. So I'm still ticking, still going. Anyway,
I've always been pretty pragmatic about age,
Yep.
and my thing is it's better than the alternative.
That's true.
So
that is true.
Give me old any day.
Yep. Does that make you feel better, Yao?
It does. I'm
sure?
I feel like I'm going to be just fine.
Did Charlie add to the age, or does it Charlie make you feel younger with the new baby?
Probably younger. I mean, I will be learning the newfangled stuff at a later age in life.
Makes sense. Did that happen to you, Mo? Did having kids, young kids, did that kind of turn you back a little bit?
And not necessarily, because I mean, I was 26 and 31 when my kids were.
You were young anyway.
Yeah, relatively.
Chris is still young.
I played softball until Nick started playing ball.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean,
real man's game.
So slow pitch softball.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt.
Told you that story. When
talk about the bash at the beach.
I mean, I didn't figure out how to be an athlete until I started playing college intramurals. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I played college intramurals with some legit athletes. So I feel you there.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Wild and Wacky Wednesday here. Listen, one of my favorite movies of all time is The Distinguished Gentleman. Well,
okay.
Pittsburgh has a real life.
Oh, no.
Republican Mike Doyle running to replace Democrat Mike Doyle in Congress.
Okay.
So there's that.
The other Mike Doyle.
Well, don't we always vote for Mike Doyle? Every time.
Wow.
So anyway,
that should be interesting.
The Democrat Doyle is retiring, so it's not going to be Doyle versus Doyle. So
it's a different Doyle.
It will just be another Mike Doyle on. It looked like Mike Doyle switched parties, I guess.
So it's not a re-election.
No, it is
just
not.
with the party, because you can do that. You can, right?
Oh yeah, you can switch parties.
You can switch parties,
but I mean, yeah. Richard, what the senator from Alabama that switched parties in like the late 80s after he was already there for 10 years.
Oh goodness.
Richard, and I can't remember his name, saving my life right now. Shelby. Richard Shelby.
Mm.
He's like 87. He switched parties like halfway through, and that was in the 80s.
Just stick your finger up and see which way the wind's blowing.
Hello.
Anyway, I just thought it was hilarious because Steve Irwin is one of the Democrats running to replace Doyle in the Democratic primary. Yes, Steve Irwin. Spelled the same. So anyway, speaking of government, this is probably one of my all-time favorite government fails. Miami, the city of Miami, spent $350,000 on new park lights. That was nice of them,
Like ballpark lights?
No, like
just
a
lights
regular
on a-
park, like a
okay.
greenway, right?
Yeah.
Well, the problem is that park closes at sundown. So at least they're gonna have at least the Gators will be able to see to cross the road.
There you go. Well done.
I mean, come on now.
Well, I mean, one person's sundown is another's dusk. I mean, I don't know.
Guess there's that.
Maybe you need light to get out of there. Maybe they stayed a little long.
Albert Gomez, co-founder of the Miami Climate Alliance, said that it's, quote, so the homeless don't use it. Well, God forbid.
So with lights, they're less likely to stay there?
You're right.
Can't sleep if there's too many lights.
Sleep too many lights.
Man,
that's even worse.
Man.
Anyway.
So there's a method to their madness.
Apparently.
So you would rather spend this money on lights to keep the homeless out
instead of using
than
that money to
spend
maybe
on the homeless.
Yeah.
Right. Come on now.
Wow.
Man.
That ain't right.
That ain't right.
What was that movie? Chris Rock, Head of State. Somebody say that ain't right. Anyway.
And his cousin Mitch.
No.
Played by Bernie Mac.
Scared it. Oh man. So a Florida woman.
There we go.
Of course. Hit him.
Oh, ding.
Yeah, he was looking for the
Florida
dings.
woman. Sorry.
Florida woman on a motorized suitcase leads police on chase through the Orlando airport.
All right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Motorized suitcase. I've never heard of such.
How long did this chase last? It
Too
couldn't have lasted that long.
A 32-year-old woman at the Orlando airport,
37 to 35.
allegedly became intoxicated, caused a, quote, disturbance.
Allegedly.
Oh, I know what she did. She got on one of those walking paths.
Hold on.
Motorized pass,
I
right?
don't know. First of all, this says caused a disturbance. And y'all know my affinity for Ray Stevens on this show.
Okay.
Where there seems to have been some disturbance. Pardon me, sir. Did you see what happened? That's exactly what happened. So she caused disturbance at the departure gate after being refused boarding by her airline, led police on a chase throughout the airport while riding a motorized.
Throughout the airport.
The woman claimed to have had just 2 drinks during a flight delay, but had glassy eyes and trouble standing. And the fatal flaw in the woman's attempt to flee on the suitcases, the airport is a fairly controlled and contained environment. She wound up boxed in by security at a checkpoint with no place to go. Once arrested and placed in a police vehicle, she ripped apart the headliner in the top of the car and allegedly defecated on the back seat.
Oh.
Wow.
There's this.
How was she not cuffed?
That's a great question. The moto bag was the name
It's an excellent question, Mo.
It's an excellent
I mean, how?
As for the motorized suitcase, a note that battery-powered suitcases generally aren't allowed on board U.S. commercial aircraft. The suitcase the woman used to evade police appears to be a moto bag, a 1,495 piece of luggage with a 150-watt electric motor, about 1/5 of a horsepower. Capable of charging max capacity in 2 hours, it can travel a distance of up to 6 miles and has a top speed of 7 miles per hour.
The carry-on that carries you. I'm sitting here at motobag.com right now.
That's a great line.
Yeah.
That's a great line.
And it literally does, because it carried her right away from the police and
Right
then
into
right
the
to their
back seat.
checkpoint.
The world's first motorized, smart, and connected carry-on that gets
Smart.
you to your destination up to 3 times faster than walking.
Look, can you watch Netflix on this thing? What does that mean?
It's got handlebars.
Of course. Does it have a little bell?
Yes.
Like a little bicycle bell? Coming through. Left.
Pardon me, excuse me.
Can we get one of those forklift horns on it?
Good Lord. That's amazing.
And when it backs up, beep.
That is amazing.
Look out, Uncle James. She's backing up.
Never before have you seen luggage like this. You darn right I've not.
That's phenomenal. All right,
Lord.
We got to get out of here. But before we do, I got to say one thing. I want to say that inflation has now gone too far. Gas prices are one thing. But now Doritos bags will have 5 fewer chips.
Five fewer
chips
in their bags because of inflation. And this,
5 fewer
my friends,
chips.
is not acceptable.
Who's counting?
I was gonna say,
somebody's counting.
I guess, but how would people know? Is that not just something you could just kind of let it go if you're Doritos?
I figure you just, yeah. Well, hey, transparency.
I guess so.
Good for Doritos.
Bags will be going from 9.75 ounces to 9.25 ounces, so that the price can stay the same. You just get fewer chips.
Okay.
So,
you know what? That's not a bad thing.
Each chip is.
Because I'm gonna eat the whole bag, so this is actually saving me some calories.
It's a humanitarian effort here by Doritos.
It is.
Save money and obesity.
Because those 5 fewer chips are going to be the difference.
That's the difference. Hey, over the course of the long haul, absolutely, those 5 chips add up, Mo.
That's a good one to get out on.
Let's get out of here, y'all. Check out Choose Chip on the Varsity app or WGNS radio if you're out in the Murfreesboro area. 4 o'clock tip.
Or join us over at Jefferson's over
we'll
here off James Campbell, because that's where we're going.
Y'all have a good one. For JP and Mo, I'm Chris saying have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.